There are basically two parts to an application tracking software. One of the parts is that of the candidate, also known as the prospective employee. The other part, which I shall also show you, is the part of the administrator representing the organization. This could be someone in human resources, for example. Looking at the employee dashboard, which is what you see right over here, it shows that John Banda has made a total of 3 applications, one of which is pending and one for which he has been shortlisted. It also shows that none of these applications has been rejected. On the left right over here, dashboard is what represents what is visible on the screen. Below dashboard is available jobs. So these are currently the available jobs. There's a job of customer service representative, and one is able to click here under actions to click to view more information. In this case, it shows that the department is operations, the location is Kabwe, what you see. It also gives the description and also the requirements. I'll close this. In the event that John would be interested to apply for this job, he can click here where it's written applied. It's written applied because John has already applied for this particular job. Since John has already applied for this particular job, it means that his application has been saved on the database. And when you come here to My Applications, you click right over here, you are able to see the applications that this particular candidate has made. He or she, in this particular case is John, he's able to see John had applied for the position of PHP web developer, but he withdrew the application. He also applied for the position of digital marketing officer, and for this one, he was shortlisted. He has also since applied for the position of customer service representative, and this is pending. If John wants, he can withdraw this particular application. And if I click on withdraw, it's going to ask John to confirm whether he wishes to withdraw. And let's click OK. And there's going to be a message successfully stating that the application has been withdrawn. In which case then, if we go back to available jobs, it means that this job which John had earlier applied for has a provision for him to be able to apply. There's a provision for him to be able to apply. And if we go back to our dashboard, it will show that there is no more pending application. Why? Remember, when we looked at it the first time, the pending application indicated that there was one. But since now there's no pending application, it is the way it is right now. So what I just took you through is what one is able to see under My Applications. We go to this part, which is very important, Upload CV. A lot of people do correctly give advice and they write about how an ATS works. I am taking a step further to demonstrate and show you how it actually works. In this particular case, a prospective employee has a provision to upload their CV. They have to click right over here and select where their CV is. In this case, let's go with the CV for John Banda. Open it and click here where it says upload and parse. Click right over here, and the information on the CV ideally then should be extracted and placed in a form like this one, allowing a user to be able to edit it because ATS does not all the time get it 100%. Despite us uploading the CV for John Banda, it's only picked up his nationality and his contact details. And his email address. Let's try a different CV. We will still follow the same process. Let's try a CV that's in my name. My name is Savoy. Open, upload and parse. Click there. In this case, because of the way the CV was formatted, the program is going to pick up the first name, the surname, the nationality. In this case, is picked up a little bit more than too much, which is why it is possible to edit these particular entries. A good program will allow you to edit these particular entries because these programs are not always 100%. So how much a business invests in an ATS is going to determine the functionalities that particular program is going to present. The more money, the more accurate it is. And remember, it's good that each one of these particular parts is editable to allow a user to be able to enter information about themselves. So always make sure that your CV has been properly formatted with the correct sections. How an ATS picks up this information is based on how it has been programmed. In this particular case, I programmed this particular ATS to pick up the first name, the surname, the nationality, contact number 1, contact number 2, email address. Also, I programmed it to pick up the skills. Also, I programmed it to pick up the qualifications, and the qualifications will include the name of the qualification, for example, degree in business administration. If that has not been picked up successfully, you can just type it here, business administration, okay? Business administration, area of study, business administration. Institution, let's say online institute, okay? Online Institute, just a hypothetical one, Online Institute of Zambia, okay? Online Institute of Zambia. When did you begin this program? Say 2018. And when did you finish? Say 2022. All right. If there's more qualifications, you just simply need to click here. You enter those qualifications if they have not been picked up successfully. Work experience as well. You may indicate that you worked as marketing officer for a company called More Miles. It actually picked More Miles. You see this? Because that's part of what's on my CV. Okay. So say marketing officer, More Miles. Let's assume, okay, you may have started in 2012 and ended in 2015. The duties, let's say content creation, just as an example. Content creation is what you did, comma, what else did you do? Product development, just as an example, product development. A user can be able to enter this particular information. Then referees, no referee has been picked up, so we can include the referee's name, full name in this particular case. Let's say Veronica Chanda, position, human resources manager, okay? Organization, let's say Captain 37. That's the organization. So we put the mobile number, email address. If there's more referees, recommended is a minimum of 3. Once that is done, you need to click here to save all information. Click here to save all information. So this is how it works. Always ensure that your CV has got the correct headings. However, please bear in mind that one ATS to another ATS, depending on how it has been programmed, is either going to have a limitation of the information it's going to extract and how that information is going to be parsed. And this may differ from one organization to another, or 2 organizations may have the same, possibly because they're using the same ATS. If you need help on how to write an ATS compliant CV, I'm glad to help. And I've demonstrated to you on how it actually works based on a program that I put up myself. When you look at different programs, they may have different expectations and how that can be done. But important is that the CV must have clear headings, like for example, work experience, skills, and others as may be expected. Another option that's here is that of notifications. In this case, there are no notifications. Then a user is also able to check their profile. This is the name, John, email, okay, and this can be changed. Mobile number, this can be changed. When did they join, meaning when did they register to be on this particular ATS? On 18th October. You can click here to view the CV and make changes should that be the case. Then there's this option right over here to view the profile. And so clicking right over here gives us this. So it correctly shows the first name, the surname, and other information, skills, qualifications, and also experience. And you can add an additional referee should there be a need. You can add an additional referee should there be a need. And you can save any changes. You would get your confirmation. So on the candidate side, this is what it's like. On the candidate side, this is what basically it is like. Let me now take you to the administrator side of an ATS. So this is how the administrator side of the ATS looks like. It also has a dashboard, and on this particular dashboard, it shows that there is one job that is currently available, 3 jobs have been closed, 9 applications in total, 1 person has been hired, 1 person was rejected. Candidate readiness has been put at 76%, 0.37. 76%, 0.37. Meaning of those particular candidates on our platform, how many are ready? If we come here to manage jobs, if I click right here on manage jobs, I'm able to enter a job, which is then going to be available for anyone who may wish to apply. So in this case, for example, let's enter the job of sales manager, okay? Let's say sales manager job is available, department sales, okay? Department sales, the description, to manage the sales function of the business. Qualifications, degree in sales or marketing. Member of Zambia Institute of Marketing. And whatever other qualifications you may want to include. The closing date, okay, today is the 24th of October. Let's say the closing date is going to be on the 31st of October. That's the closing date. Location, Lusaka. Salary, let's put it at 30,000 kwacha. 30,000 kwacha. And the modes, okay, this person is it going to be online, remote, or hybrid? Let's put hybrid. So then we can click here. The admin can click here to add the job. The admin can click here to add the job. When that is done, if you scroll right down, it will show the admin is able to see the available job. The one that we just added is this one, sales manager, sales department. The qualifications are here, the closing date, and you notice that the status is open. Status is open. When the status is changed to closed, it means that that job is not going to be visible to anyone. When the status is changed from open to closed, it means that it won't be available to anyone. In this case, it's open, and also the position of customer service representative. Remember the one John had applied for? It's open. Let's open all these others. Let's open this job as well. The admin can open that job. Okay, it's marked as open. Let's open another one. We open this job for PHP web developer. We open that one. All right, let's open them. So you can let's open all the jobs. Let's open all the jobs. So all the jobs are now open, and any person who has an account will then be able to see these jobs. When the status of these jobs is changed to closed, okay? When the status of these jobs is changed to closed, they won't be accessible. In this case, they are now accessible. This one is highlighted like this because the deadline is today. So when the deadline is closer, it changes color just for the purposes of visibility, and someone can be able to allow someone to be able to take action as they may wish. Then here under applications, we're able to see who has made applications. So in this case, these people made applications. John made an application for customer service representative. The status is a new application. Okay, so the admin can click here to see more information about John. The admin can click here to see more information about John. Should the admin think that John stands a good chance, what the admin can decide to do right here, they can click, okay, this person's CV, okay, it's under review. So let's change this to under review, or shortlisted, or interviewed, or hired, or rejected. So in this case, let's say under review. All right, we can just leave it at under review, change the status to under review, go back, okay. John here, okay, let's just change it from here, under review. All right, so we have all these other people that applied for these jobs. All right, cool. So we have them as applicants. Then the admin can also view jobs. The admin can also view jobs. Equally, the only jobs the admin can be able to see are those jobs whose status is open. But let me take you back to applications. Under applications here, there's this tab here which says advanced filter. Let's click on it to see what's there. So with advanced filter, we can click right over here to find who has applied for what job. So in this case, we want to find out who has applied for the job of digital marketing officer. And click right over here. We may be interested with, we can select other options right over here, but for now, let's just see who's applied for this job. And if we filter, we'll be able to see to say, so this job, there are these applicants. Mwila, John, and Lydian applied. It shows number of experience. In this case, John, the number of experience is not indicated. The qualification is not indicated. The skill is not indicated. And the status is, okay, for Mwila was hired, and Lillian, her application is pending. Lillian's application is pending. Let's view Lillian's CV. All right, let's see what Lillian has to offer. Okay, she has a degree in marketing, University of Zambia, 3 years work experience. Okay, her skills include search engine optimization, content management. Okay, looks interesting. Let's go back. Let's filter some more. Yes, we want to find out who applied for the position of finance manager. Experience, we may want someone with 2 years experience, up to 2 years experience. And then we can filter this. Do we have any results? Only Chanda Kalava. Chanda Kalava has got up to 2 years experience. If that's what the business wants, then this is your guy. Here's a question. If one held more than 2 jobs at one company, how does that have to be placed on a CV? Does it have to be placed, like, for example, on the same line, they would put digital marketing officer / customer services manager? What do you think the ATS is going to pick? What do you think the ATS is going to pick? I'll leave that up to you. We can also access what is referred to as the predictive tools. And let me click right here. The administrator can see, okay, we can match certain positions with certain persons. We don't know who the persons are, but we can select a position. For example, we can select a position of digital officer, digital marketing officer, and we want someone who created content, okay? So content creation. We don't know who it is, but if we click here, we can be given information, okay? So job description, let's say manage online platforms, okay? Manage online platforms. Job description, job requirements, that, okay? If we click here to analyze, there is a candidate, myself. The email would be indicated and the match is 25%. 25% match in this particular role. Okay, so you see, when recruitment is taking place in some organizations, they may not even have to go through CVs because the CVs are already on the database. The administrator is simply going to come to a section such as this one, predictive tools, and search for a person who fits the profile, the title, the department, the job description, and the job requirements. That is why your CV must clearly indicate that which you were doing for a particular job, because that is what may determine whether you may be picked or not. A business may want someone for a job who has experience in content creation or anything else in that particular line. And then you can also get a report. So you see, of the candidates, the 5 candidates that have applied for this particular position, the average score of how they are prepared for the job is 67.2%. A business may want someone who meets this particular match, which is 80%. So 80%, then the business would need to look for who this 80% person is, and there are tools that allow you to be able to do that. So when organizations talk about the recruitment process, this is partly what is involved. This is in part what is involved. Then there's also this section for talent dashboard. Talent dashboard. And so when organizations talk about talent acquisition, they are thinking of or talking about persons who have specific skills to join the organizations and be able to perform specific functions. Based on all the CVs that are saved on the database, a person so employed to look into talent acquisition is able from this particular idea to see the skills that the manpower available has. In this case, public relations, there's copywriting, training and development, interviews, discipline, okay? There's YouTube right over here, international marketing, entrepreneurship, business law, and strategic marketing management science. So it gives you an idea to say of the persons employed in the organization or those that have submitted their CVs. Overall, what is it that they bring to the table? This is a compilation of what they bring to the table. This has other features like the forecasting feature, simulator, advisory, strategy advisory, and any other features as a business may desire. So this, my dear friends, in part is how an ATS works. Usually the focus is on CVs and making them compliant, but truth of the matter is that an ATS is actually a robust system. It took me about 2 weeks to put this up for the purposes of demonstration. With this particular demonstration I've shown you on what an administrator can do, I would like to draw your attention and take you back to the account for John to see what changes are now visible on John's side as a result of what has been done on this side. We are back into the account for John Banda. The dashboard is right over here. Nothing has changed over here. If we go to available jobs, do you see there are now more available jobs considering the fact that the administrator opened the other jobs. So John is now able to see more jobs and even apply for more jobs. For example, John may be interested in the position for sales manager, and therefore he'll just click here, get this confirmation. Yes, he's applied for that particular job. And when he goes to my applications, there's one pending for sales manager, and if he so wishes, he can withdraw. Dear friends, he can withdraw. And this is how an ATS works. That's it. At least for now, that is it. My name is Savoy. I enjoy training and coming up with content for the purposes of training, and I'm hoping that you found value in this video. Goodbye.